It's over for Kansas, Teddy. The music has stopped. The party's done. They get to 14 straight championships in the Big 12. They can't get to 15. And how about the Celtics getting up off the carpet versus the Golden State Warriors and pulling out a miraculous victory, getting 6.5? All this getting closer, Teddy, in order to get to Selection Sunday just a couple weeks. But how about this? Hot topic of the day. Duke survives at the gun. Senior night. Not really sure Duke actually had any seniors, but Zion not on the court. Looks like he'll be back on the court, Teddy, for UNC. Little ball goes around the rim, falls out. Duke wins, but 24 points. You can't win by one, Teddy.
Well, they did win by one. And for Duke fans, that's enough. You survived the trap game before North Carolina, and you got the win. You didn't put a dent in your ACC title hope. Certainly not a brilliant performance for the Blue Devils last night. They had to rally from double digits behind in the second half of that ball game. However, they found a way to win it, just like North Carolina did. The Tar Heels played a lot better than the Blue Devils last night in the look-ahead spot. In fact, something North Carolina hadn't been doing in recent seasons prior to the season finale against Duke. They've had real troubles in that role. That was not the case last night. Blew out BC before halftime and then hung on with a point spread cover at the end that got a little dicey in the final 10 seconds as BC hit a couple of threes. But Tar Heels get the money. Blue Devils do not. Both essentially survive and advance to play on Saturday.
We'll take a look Friday, Teddy, a little bit more at that game for UNC Duke on Saturday. But it's kind of interesting because you saw after the game some of the quotes coming out from Coach K saying they expect Zion to be back for Saturday. I want to ask you ahead of time because we don't know what the line is or the advanced number. We know it's a revenge for Duke since Carolina beat him last time. Good move to get Zion back before you head into conference tournament play and March Madness play, or would you like to give him an extra week just to be ready? Because that environment's going to be pretty crazy and wild on Saturday night. Does he overextend himself at that point, or do you think it's a good move?
If he's ready to be on the court, put him back on the court. It's entirely a health issue. It has nothing to do with what the situation is. And I really don't know if Coach K at this stage is going to be chasing an ACC conference tournament title. If your star player is healthy, get him on the floor.
I tend to agree with you as well. Dip him back in, then you'll see how he ingratiates himself to his teammates again. Heading forward, we'll see still massive favorites, Teddy, to take down the Nets in March Madness. March Madness heading again today, Teddy. Each and every day, it seems like another conference is jumping in. This is going to go on all this week and also into next week before Selection Sunday. The NEC and the OVC tip-off. Most people don't really pay attention to the NEC so much, but the OVC's got some pretty good basketball teams, Teddy. Starting about the favorite to win the tournament, Belmont at -112. Murray State at an even +100, and Jacksonville State at +800. The interesting thing about Jacksonville State is they took down Belmont twice in OVC play, so it should be a pretty good tournament out there. If we're looking right now, Joe Lenardi pointing out saying, if the season ended today, Belmont's already in. You know, Murray State's on the outside looking in just by a couple teams. Should be a fun tournament coming up, but a lot more of these are going to get going as the weekend starts here for us, Teddy.
Yeah, and Belmont and Murray State are both teams that are capable of winning an NCAA tournament game, if not two. So watch out for those teams, whichever one of the two wins the tournament, and potentially, I mean, very potentially, I don't expect either to get an out-large bid, because this is a really important point to remember when you're talking about Lenardi's bracketology and all this kind of stuff. It doesn't factor in any big upsets. So when the shocker team wins a conference tournament and steals a bid, as I don't know, 4 or 5 teams are going to do over the next couple of weeks, other teams that aren't on the bubble, that are already in, that are projected to win their conference tournaments, will end up getting those bids. If you're low on the bubble right now, forget about it. You know, win your conference tournament. That's about the only chance you have.
Talk about winning the conference tournament. How about winning some basketball games, Teddy? Sort of writing them off. Ooh, the Celtics are imploding. Kyrie Irving's going to be gone. Gordon Hayward, he can't play anymore. What a wasted contract. Boy, does one day make a big difference there. Kyrie Irving makes nice with the media. They go out to the West Coast, +6.5 ticket, blow out the Warriors. Matter of fact, Teddy, this is the worst Warriors loss at home in the Steve Kerr era, and Gordon Hayward cashes in at 37-4 split. Easy wire-to-wire victory. But then again, Teddy, we've been preaching all along here. Those money burners in the Warriors continue to burn money.
I mean, I think 1-10 against the spread their last 11, and I see no signs of that changing for Golden State. It was a flat spot. First game back off a long East Coast swing, coming off a big win at Philly, a very playoff intense game. They came out flat and just got wiped off the floor. The interesting thing in my mind is Boston's comments. Kyrie Irving, quote, that long plane ride from Boston out to San Fran helped us out. I'll just say that. We needed it. We were going to get to a point where we were just going to get tired of fighting each other, fighting the outside world, and it doesn't even really matter. So we just wanted to come out here and just play basketball. This is our sanctuary. We have to do everything to protect it. We can't let anybody infiltrate it. That's a positive quote from Boston moving forward. Also worth noting, Celtics now 18-2 straight up in the 20 games this season in which Gordon Hayward has hit at least 50% of his shots. They are 17-22 compared to 18-2, 17-22 in the games that Hayward has not hit half of his shots this season. So clearly, Gordon Hayward's having an enormous impact on the Celtics straight up and point spread results.
New manager, Teddy, getting a first look, Major League Baseball first look on that betting show today. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, which they stopped using a couple years ago, but I still like to bring up that moniker there. 80-82 in 2018. The Angels head into the 2019 season, a 40-1 shot to win the 2019 World Series. Team total listed, right about average there, 83.5. Mike Trout, obviously the best player in baseball. And outside of all the tampering charges we're looking at with Bryce Harper recruiting the Angels outfielder over the next couple years, still some Major League Baseball to play. Justin Upton, pretty formidable there in left field to go right opposite of Mike Trout. Cole Calhoun looking for a bounce-back season. Shohei Ohtani, electric on the mound, but not going to be that way this year. Coming off Tommy John surgery, still going to be able to DH out there. You have the aging Albert Pujols. You bring in a little bit more power with Justin Bour to maybe split at first base. They have a decent shell of a team in this one, but a new look, new manager coming in, and see what we could do this year for the Los Angeles Angels, Teddy.
I think there's some betting upside with this team. And LA is a team that initially, coming into the season, I think there might be some money to be made backing the Angels. Look, they were -8 units for the season last year. They were losers at home, small losers at home, small losers on the road. They were big losers on the run line. Lots of one run wins as chalk. They were an under team last year, which tells us the pitching staff, at least coming in, might be some bet on material. Now, look, obviously the Mike Scioscia era is gone. And, the difference in Scioscia and pre-Scioscia, they had 19 years under the guy. They had 12 winning seasons. They made the playoffs 7 times. In 39 years before Scioscia, they had 12 winning seasons and made the playoffs 3 times. So obviously the franchise was well taken care of in the Mike Scioscia era. But Brad Ausmus is the guy right now. You look at the pitching staff, and again, you talked about the lineup, and yeah, there's some upside there. I don't like Pujols in the middle of the order, but there's some batters, not just Trout and Upton and Ohtani, Anderson Simmons, Jonathan LaCroix, Zach Cozart. They got some veteran bats. The pitching staff with Skaggs and Haney and Matt Harvey in a good ballpark for him, Trevor Cahill, they're not guys who are going to really be attracting a ton of wise guy money. The advanced metric stats on these guys won't blow you away. If the Angels play 500 baseball, and this team could win 85, 90 games, wouldn't shock me at all. They're going to be moneymakers for their backers. I've got a buy sign on the LA Angels going into the campaign.